Welcome to our 5 on 5. Please be joined today by Dr. Christopher Thornberg, the founding partner of Beacon Economics. Good to see you. Thanks for being here today.
A pleasure.
Yeah, welcome to the Rogue Valley. So you kicked off the season today at the Medford-Jackson County Chamber Forum. What was the focus of your message?
Well, really, it was about the kind of broader state of the economy. As you know, of course, Trump rode into office last year, really on the basis of making America great again, as if there's something fundamentally wrong with the U.S. economy. What I was talking about today were really the positive trends in the U.S. economy. 8 years into an expansion, GDP continues to grow at 2 and 2.5%. No major imbalances in the economy. Really, no chance of a recession in the next 2 years. So really, it's this kind of, if you will, this dichotomy between the political discourse we're hearing coming out of Washington, D.C. versus the ground level realities.
What do you see here locally, here in Medford? I know you prepped on the area for...
Right, yeah. Well, again, it's actually very similar. I would say in many ways even more prosperous, if you will, than the nation overall.
Excellent.
Overall, the unemployment rate here in the region is just a little bit above 4% right now. You have a tremendous number of people moving into the area. In fact, over the last 2 years, you've seen almost 8% growth in the local labor force, which is astonishing. This is an area that has a tremendous amount of potential, a highly educated workforce, a number of growing industries. Really very impressive.
Okay, what do you think, you may have already talked about this biggest misconception going on right now. If that is redundant, what other misconceptions are out there?
Well, one of the biggest misconceptions, again, goes back to this idea of labor markets. Every time you hear policy discussions coming out of Washington, D.C., they always start with this idea that we have to create jobs, jobs, jobs. Actually, the problem isn't jobs. You look at the labor force today, we see a national unemployment rate somewhere in the 5% range, which what economists call full employment. Number of discouraged workers is way down. Number of people with Social Security disability is way down. The number of job openings right now is at a record high level inside the United States. We don't need jobs. What we need is workers. And this goes back, again, to this sort of dichotomy between economic realities and this current administration. There is this very negative, shall we say, focus on immigration. And they want to cut back. They want to get rid of, people who are in the country without documents. But look at the numbers. We have 11 million undocumented immigrants in this nation. We have full labor markets. These people aren't part of a problem. They're actually part of a solution for the U.S. Growing our labor force faster is one of the ways, easiest way, to get the economy just moving forward.
Very good. We're going to take a quick break. Much more in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, we're here with Dr. Christopher Thornberg from Beacon Economics. So you're really praising what the last year has been look like. It sounds very rosy. Is there anything that's not going that good right now with our economy?
Well, there's plenty of worries in our economy. I'm not plannish by any stretch of the imagination, but the kind of things I'm worried about are things that are really going to start to have an impact on our economy 5, 6, 7 years. For example, right now, of course, one of the debates in Washington, D.C. is about cutting taxes. Now, I'm not a big fan of paying taxes, but on the other hand, take a step back and understand where our federal government is. You know, over the next 20 years, you're going to have over 30 million boomers retire. That's going to take the number of people on Medicare from 47 million to something on the order of 78 million people. That's going to create an enormous deficit in our federal government. In fact, according to current CBO projections regarding the federal budget, within the next 3 years, you're going to see big widening. And then within 10 years, you're going to see a deficit as large as what we saw under the worst year of the Great Recession. And that's in the midst of a normal economy, not in the midst of a recession economy. The fact that we are talking about tax cuts, but not taking on this enormous challenge of entitlements, to me, it's incredibly irresponsible. We have to start thinking ahead. There are big challenges down the road, as opposed to worrying about non-existent problems today. We're absolutely ignoring those very real problems that are going to be happening in a decade.
When they tackle the entitlements, what will be the ripple effect of our economy? Are we going to see a recession or a slowdown instantly?
Well, it depends on how they deal with it, right? I mean, look, the easiest way of dealing with entitlements, of course, is to take on some basic reforms, such as increasing immigration, bring more people into the support system, but you also have to start pushing up that age of retirement, and of course, we're going to have to cut back on some of the benefits for retired peoples. These are incredibly unpopular political conversations because there's a lot of people out there that like those benefits. We can't afford the promises we make. We need to take this on in a reasonable, responsible way. And again, there's just no ability to tackle this kind of problem in D.C. in this current political environment.
Want to try and squeeze one more in here. We hear millennials will be the first generation to live with less money than their parents.
Yeah.
What your reaction?
Again, that's just completely preposterous. It's funny.
Okay.
We continue to have these good stories about decline. Actually, wages are going up right now. If you look at actual statistics on family incomes, they continue to rise on a solid basis. We don't have a lack of prosperity because even those numbers I just referred to are not adjusting for the incredible quality of life that we have today because of advances in information technology and medicine, things like this. We have so much good fortune. Let's focus on real issues that we can solve as opposed to problems that don't exist.
Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
My pleasure. Stay with us. We'll be right back.